We have got some fresh details about Bitcoin in El Salvador. So President Bukele went on air today and said that this thing goes live in early September, and he shared some details about how it's going to work. Everyone can download a wallet, lovingly called El Chivo, and you get $30 value in Bitcoin in that wallet after you confirm your identity with a facial recognition scan. So the details of this thing continue to come together. These are some concrete details. Bitcoin bumped a little bit in price on the news. It's interesting to see this coming together a bit more tangibly. I'm going to throw this to you, Ben. What is the latest that you are reading when it comes to El Salvador, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we're seeing this slow rollout of details, right? And that's to be expected. I'm happy about that. Like, I know that we talk about announcements, but what to me is like, what's the underlying infrastructure for all of this that's happening? You know, I think the pre-deposited wallet is an interesting idea. It's really an incentive mechanism for people to get in. And obviously, if it's $30 of actual Bitcoin, then that can increase in value too if the price goes up, right? It depends on when they kind of pay these things out. So that's a really interesting idea. Certainly an incentive for people to get involved into it. Something that gives me a little bit of pause, though, is the facial recognition aspect of verifying your identity. That brings a whole other host of questions and a whole other host of kind of potential hangups when you have like centralized governments interacting with Bitcoin in this way. Because, you know, where is that data going? How's it being used? Is it being stored locally on a device or something like that? Or is this just going to be fed into, you know, centralized servers and potentially, you know, used with like law enforcement or stuff like that? These are all sorts of things that have been well documented as occurring in the US and other countries around the world. So, you know, when centralization and decentralization kind of clash, you have this sort of these sparks that fly and raise a lot of questions for me, particularly as a privacy and security reporter, that I think remain right now unanswered.
Yeah, but you got to get it so that people just can't claim the free money over and over again, right? Is there some mechanism that you would hope that President Nayib is looking at to make sure that this goes well? What would you advise to avoid the scamming that is often comes with free crypto money?
Yeah, I mean, there'd be a couple different ways. To me, the facial recognition aspect just feels like a little bit of overkill. I mean, you could use a kind of one-time identifier and claim it. You know, there's obviously like redemption codes that could be generated potentially. There's a lot of questions in terms of how this could be sorted out. Maybe there is a decentralized way or a DID that could be used. But to me, just immediately going to like facial recognition is something that I kind of automatically like want to put the brakes on and take a little bit more time looking at, because that's like not only personally identifiable data, it's like biometric data, and that can be fed into not only machine learning algorithms, but a host of other things that can impact people down the line without their knowledge. So those are my elements of concern particularly.
Will, I'm tossing this to you. Are you moving to El Salvador for the $30 airdrop? Yes or no? Yes or no, sir?
Oh, flying down there. I need that $30 Bitcoin.
Done. Stat. Yes or no?
Done. It was a yes. We heard it. We heard a yes.
Down there.
Done. He's there.
No, it's super interesting. This made me think of the Uniswap airdrop, which very, very different situation. But it was about like 6 to 9 months ago, and everyone who had interacted with Uniswap was just gifted a bunch of Uni tokens, and then over the subsequent 6 months, the price of those tokens, I think like if you held them all, like went well over 10 grand. So interesting to see that now we have like a national airdrop, and I don't really know if that has happened before. I mean, there's been forks and stuff where there's just been like a large swath of population has been gifted tokens, but this is a really interesting chapter in crypto's history. The fact that you can just kind of, it's like a UBI of sorts, where you're just like moving money everywhere. But I kind of echo Ben's security problems with this. I don't really know how to solve them though. I don't know if anyone has really solved that issue yet. Naomi, your take?
Yeah, I think I have a lot more reservations about the whole thing than anyone else on the panel. Let's not call it free money. Let's call it taxpayer money, and let's call it a redistribution from less tech-savvy people to more tech-savvy people, those who are able to get these wallets and learn how to use it and integrate with all of that. They get money that are being paid for by the rest of the population. So yeah, I don't see it as a good thing. If it was a private company coming in and saying, we're donating, we're giving this to people, if it was Strike saying, hey, we're really happy about this, we've got this fund, we did a fundraiser, all volitional, money, we're handing it out, that would be super. But this is government expropriated money that's being redistributed. They're picking winners and losers. They're saying people who use Bitcoin get more money than the rest of the people. I'm definitely not a fan of that.
Is there also a national wallet? Sorry, Jen, go ahead.
No, that's okay. To Naomi's point, when I think about this, so it's $30 in Bitcoin. the average minimum wage in El Salvador is like $250 a month. So people are really incentivized to go and do this. And then there's this facial recognition element to it. So you think about people who are largely unbanked, maybe they're operating cash businesses, and now there's this mechanism to track what's going on. It's all starting to feel very eerie to me.
Oh, I don't know about that. You got to get the network effect there. You got to get people who have a little skin in the game, right? That's the name of crypto. A little bit of skin in the game.
Like, let's mandate these things. Let's force people into this system. Let's expropriate wealth because, you know, the ends justifies the means, right?
You got it. You got it.
It's just, I think this is sort of my general philosophy on these things, where it's like let's hit the pause button and let's like look at how some of these things are being situated, right? Like, you know, people are really love Bitcoin, like they are all for it, and this seems to be a way to push it forward. And it's all the ancillary stuff that I'm really interested in this regard. Like, this is a nationalized wallet, seemingly. It's a little unclear whether it's custodial or non-custodial. Like, we're talking about, you know, Bitcoin being put into these wallets so people come and they interact with it, associate an identity with it, and then you have a potential registry of all of that. You know, it does hearken to me, and I know it is not the same thing, but you're having all these centralized controls implemented into it with like CBDCs in China and the digital yuan, where there's like money being deposited to people's accounts so that they will use it, and then it can be, you know, accessed and data can be collected around them. And so I'm not saying those two things are the same. Let's make that very clear, aggregators. Those two things are not, but you're seeing elements of control being instituted into both. And that to me is a really weird space for Bitcoin to be playing in El Salvador.
Naomi, I was looking at the rundown.
I'll wrap up there.
Yeah, I thought your story was Cookie Day.
For sure, but on that note, Ben, I just want to mention, you know, the Bitcoin in El Salvador, like, it has all of the potential to be amazing. They just need to take out these elements of coercion, and it would be super. So I think Bitcoiners should push back until they do.